everyone wants to know the same thing right now. Should I keep renting or is it finally time to buy? And honestly, it is a fair question because the answer is not the same for everyone. There are people who should absolutely be buying in Calgary right now, and there are people who should stay put and keep renting a little longer. And the difference has nothing to do with what the market is doing. In this video, I'm going to walk you through an honest comparison. We're going to look at the real numbers, the lifestyle factors, and by the end, you're going to have a much clearer picture of where you actually stand. My name is Jenna Bole. I'm a licensed realtor here in Calgary with Royal LePage Benchmark. And I promise this is not a video trying to talk you into buying a home. It is a video designed to help you make the right decision for your situation. So let's get into it. Before we compare renting and buying, you need to understand where Calgary sits right now, because context matters. For the past few years, Calgary was firmly in a seller's market. Low inventory, high demand, multiple offers. It was a tough environment for buyers specifically. But in 2026, things have shifted a bit. We are definitely moving into more of a balanced market. Inventory is up, the frantic pace has settled, and buyers have more time, more options, and more negotiating room than they had in previous years. At the same time, rents in Calgary have also risen significantly over the past 2 years. The rent versus buy calculation looks different today than it did a few years ago. So with that context in mind, let's take a look at both sides honestly. Let's start with renting because there are legitimate reasons to keep renting right now and not enough people talk about them. Reason number one is flexibility. Renting gives you flexibility that buying does not. If your job situation changes, or you're not sure if you want to stay in Calgary long term, or if your life is in a period of transition, renting is maybe the smarter move. Buying a home and selling it within 2 to 3 years rarely works in your favor once you account for closing costs, legal fees, realtor commissions on both ends, etc. You generally need to hold onto a property for at least 3 to 5 years to start seeing the financial benefit. Reason number two, you're still building your down payment. If you don't have enough saved yet for a meaningful down payment, there's no shame in renting while you build that up. Buying with the absolute minimum down payment means higher mortgage insurance costs and higher monthly payments. Sometimes renting for another year or two and saving aggressively is the right financial move. Reason three, your credit or your income needs work on getting pre-approved. Getting pre-approved for a mortgage requires stable income and a solid credit history. If you're self-employed and your income is inconsistent, or if your credit score needs some attention, renting while you strengthen those will put you in a much better position when you do buy. Reason number four, renting is not throwing away money. I want to address this directly because I hear people say it constantly. People say renting is throwing money away, and it's not. When you rent, you are paying for housing. That is a real service. You are also not paying property tax, condo fees, maintenance costs, or home insurance. Those costs add up really fast for homeowners, and they're often underestimated. Now, let's look at the case for buying, because there are also very strong reasons to buy in Calgary right now. Reason number one, building equity over time. When you pay rent, that money goes to your landlord. When you pay a mortgage, a portion of every payment goes towards owning more of your home. Over 10, 15, 20 years, that equity becomes a significant financial asset. Calgary's long-term real estate fundamentals are strong. Population is still growing and the economy is diversifying, and housing demand is not going away. Buying and holding is a proven strategy for building wealth here. Reason number two is payment stability. With a fixed rate mortgage, your payment stays the same for the entire term of your mortgage. Rent, on the other hand, can go up every year. Calgary renters have seen significant rent increases over the past 2 to 3 years. So owning locks in your housing costs in a way that renting cannot. Reason number three is Calgary is still one of Canada's most affordable major cities. Compared to Vancouver or Toronto, Calgary is still very accessible. If you have been priced out of the other Canadian cities, Calgary is one of the very few major metros where owning is still within reach for many first-time buyers. Reason number four is you have more power right now. In the current market, buyers do have some negotiating room that we haven't had in the last few years. You can ask for conditions. You can have time to do proper due diligence. You're not in that same frantic multiple offer environment that we've defined over the past few years. If you're ready to buy, the market conditions are more in your favor than they have been recently. Let's look at some real numbers so this feels more concrete rather than theoretical. The average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Calgary right now is roughly $2,100 to $2,400 depending on the neighborhood and building. Now, let's look at buying. If you purchased a condo or a townhome in Calgary in the $400,000 to $450,000 range with a 10% down payment, your mortgage rate at today's rates would be roughly in that same ballpark, though your total monthly housing costs would include condo fees, property tax, and insurance on top of that. At the $500,000 to $600,000 range for a detached home, your monthly costs go up meaningfully, but so does your equity building potential and long-term stability. The math is not as simple as rent versus mortgage payment. It is rent versus the total cost of ownership, which again includes the mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and condo fees if applicable. What buying has that renting does not is the equity component. Every month that you own, you're building an asset. Every month that you rent, you do not. So whether that trade-off makes sense depends on your income, your savings, your timeline, and your priorities. There's no universal right answer. So how do you know which one is the right for you right now? Well, here are the questions I would ask. Buy if you plan to stay in Calgary for at least 3 to 5 years, you have a stable income and a solid credit history, you have saved at least 5% for a down payment and enough for closing costs, you're ready for the responsibilities that come with ownership, you want payment stability and long-term equity. Keep renting if you're not sure about your long-term plans in Calgary, your down payment savings are not quite there yet, your income or credit situation needs more time, you're in a major life transition and need some flexibility, the monthly cost of owning would stretch you too thin. Neither list is a judgment. It can just help. It is just a framework to help you think clearly. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Renting is not a failure. Buying is not always the right move. The right answer is the one that matches where you are actually at in your life right now. If you watch this and you think you might be ready to start exploring what buying looks like for you in Calgary, the first step is simple. Get a mortgage pre-approval. That tells you exactly what you can qualify for and gives you a real number to work with. I have a link in the description to book a free buyer consultation with me. We can sit down, look at your situation, and figure out whether now is the right time or whether a little bit more planning time would serve you better. No pressure, no sales pitch, just a helpful conversation. If this video helps you think through the decision more clearly, hit subscribe. I put out new content every week designed to help Calgary buyers and sellers make confident, informed decisions. And if you have a question you want me to answer in the future, please drop it in the comments below. I read every single one and I would love to help you out. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.